Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Malibu TV. I don't know who is watching right now, but as always, I just want to log into my other laptop. And if you are logging in, please say hello on the chat so that I can see who's logging in here, right? As we wait a bit, it's 2 minutes past 5. We wait a bit until we can get more. I believe that YouTube gives you a notification that I am live. So if it does not, you need to click on the bell button so that you get notified when I'm live. Otherwise, I am waiting for you here. Continue. Okay, it really takes a while to notify people that are live. I have my other phone that has a different Gmail account. So I see that on Bates only 3 minutes later, it's only saying, Melby is live. Hello, my good and lovely people. Let's see how many people I see. There's one person who is watching here. So I see there's one person. Hello, hello, hello. Please say your name. Say your name, baby. Say your name. Say your name. Let's wait for others to really join. Okay. Okay, I think it's 5 minutes later. So whoever is late will catch us up, later on. Let us begin, guys. Okay. I see 2 people are watching. Okay, yes. I said hello 5 minutes ago. Oh, I did not see that. I see there's a second person here. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. B. There's something that is going on, guys. I'm not sure what it is. Let me ask. All right. All right, guys. So today we're talking about signs that you have unhealed trauma, how to heal from painful childhood, and yes, how to heal from. I think I repeated that on the on the on the topic tab there, right? And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I am Coach Malebo, a holistic life and wellness coach. I am also an author of 2 amazing books called The Journey Confessions. Actually, there are 3 books: The Journey Confessions and Vegan Life for Beginners, right? I have also started this new thing here called, it's a journaling, it's a journal. So it's called Create the Life That You Want. So if you want my books, do communicate with me and say, hello, coach. I am ready to get your books. So today we're talking about childhood traumas. And part of the reasons why we are talking about childhood traumas, it's because I am one of the people who went through a horrible childhood where I had so many types of pains that happened in my childhood, right? So today we are here, me and you, and we are talking about this. So one of the things that I do is that I have been running away from, actually, is talking about my story, because I thought that everyone knows about my story. I thought that that's actually possible, that everybody knows about my story. I mean, I wrote a book about it. I did everything about it, but that's not true. That was not true, right? So let's see from there. I see that people on the Facebook and WhatsApp, they don't know that I'm live. Some people should know that already I go live every Tuesday. So let's just do this. Sorry guys about this. I thought it's sorted, but it's not. Sorry about that. Okay, fine. So let us talk about what is trauma, because many times when people talk about trauma, we are thinking that we are talking about, for instance, somebody blazing AK-47 in front of us. We are thinking of that type of trauma. We are thinking that that is actually trauma, and some other things that we go through, we do not think that actually it is trauma. But today I'm going to start. Trauma can be inherited. Yes, it can start from, many generations before you. But I'm going to talk about, or explain this one about birth that can happen to a mother and both the unborn child. So the first one is, I don't know if you are well aware that there is actually a birth trauma. So many people who have had a birth trauma, they don't want to have kids. So when you say, hey, when are you having a kid? They are thinking of that time when life was happening to them and, things were just right because of birth trauma. Now, birth traumas there are some type of birth traumas that can be eliminated, right? But there are some that cannot be eliminated. For an example, I had a sister cousin who went for a checkup when she was pregnant. and she was told that the baby is no longer living. So what happens is that she needed to push a baby who was no more. Like, that is trauma. And she told me literally that after that I couldn't even breathe. I didn't even know what was going on with me, because I mean, most of the time when we are pushing a baby, we are pushing somebody who we cannot wait to hold, we cannot wait to live with. But imagine if you are pushing somebody who is somebody who is not alive, right? That is trauma on its own. And the other type of trauma is the one that many people know about it. Is this, I've heard of it. I don't know if it's there in private hospitals, but many people who have given birth at public hospitals, they say, yo, like the sisters will scream at you or will tell you that, look at that one. Hey, that one is hello small, hello Juliet, that one is very small, whatever, but look, she's pushing, she's doing this and that and that. So that is another a type of trauma that you can go through. Like I said, some people who have experienced this type of birth trauma, they do not want to have a baby. So to some people it's sorry guys, to some people it is that type of a trauma, and it can also go to a kid. So with me, my birth trauma is I spent close to 20 hours in labor. I was not dilating. And one of the things that comes out of that is that if you don't know about this whole thing, and the reason why I said some of these birth traumas can be eliminated. So we went with my husband and I spoke about it. Let me just do this. We went with my husband and I, thank you. We went with my husband for prenatal classes. So this was a class that was going to prepare us of what can happen in birth. Now, many Black people especially, they do not go through that thing, and they don't go through that type of those type of classes. And you just, because I think as Black people, we think that we are strong, we can handle things, and we know because of our parents and all these things. But there are things that can happen during birth that can even lead you to depression after that, right? So many people then, maybe because they are saving, maybe because they don't have funds, they do not go for prenatal classes, right? And then a whole lot of things can happen. And with me, I knew that some things can happen. You had been prepared, and you have been prepared with your partner. So when it was happening at that particular time, I had spent 20 hours in labor, and I knew that I had to be rushed. Oh my gosh. Okay, I thought I'm not live. Sorry. So I had to be rushed to the C-section. Now, what comes out with that type of trauma? What comes out is that you as a mother, you can feel as if your body has failed you as a mother, right? And then the second part of it is that it can affect the child. So the child can have problems with speech. So many children who have had, maybe they were born before the time, it's a premature child, or and they were born like they couldn't breathe and all that. It can be trauma, and they can carry it for the rest of their lives, right? So that part of a child not speaking, if you do have something like that, please speak to a speech therapist or people who are equipped for that type of a trauma, because there are many people who are equipped to help us in this trauma unit, right? So that is the first type of trauma that you can experience. But then other people have actually experienced other types of traumas, which is sexual abuse, which is rape, which is corporal punishment, which is a whole lot of other things, emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, and and more of that, right? Now, myself, as for a lack of a better word, I don't like to call myself a victim of sexual abuse, but then myself as a victim of sexual abuse, I have suffered that trauma in my life to such a point that I was bedwetting even when I was in high school. Now, sometimes our parents or people, our caregivers or people who are with us, they don't know how to, because as like I'm saying, as Black people, we are not equipped enough to really deal with trauma at its point of origin. Now, most of the time we are dealing with what? We are dealing with only we are dealing with things like symptoms of trauma. So when I was bedwetting, people were asking, why is this chick, hey, you are old, why you rotela dikobo, but that was a trauma because my reproductive system was interfered with when I was very, very young, at the ages of 8. So to some people, they have experienced abuse. Some people have experienced a whole lot of other things. So please, I see that I keep on cutting. Please tell me if you can see me. Please let me know if you can see me there in the comments. Let me know if you can see me, girls. I keep on cutting, or is it my thingy? Okay. I hope you can see me, right? If you can, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Zelda Small, can you still see me? Nero, can you still see me if you are there? Please comment and say, yes, I can see you, so that I can continue, because I think that, hey, am I speaking to myself? Anyway. Okay, thank you. So there are different types of traumas. Like I said, birth, it can be what you experience at a young age. It can be even what you experience as an adult. But most of the time, the people who experience abuse or trauma as an adult is what you have actually endured when you were younger. So how do we know this? I know myself that when I was at the ages of 8 and 11, I was sexually abused. And then after that, I was humiliated by the community, and everybody was like, yo, hey, this one is this and that and that and that. And guess what? I never healed from that. And the moment I did not really give my time to heal, I landed up in the hands of a man who assaulted me physically, like beating me, physical assault, right? Physical assault. And that was when I was 17, I think. It's just that with me, I cannot endure anything that is painful. So when that day, when he beat me up and did all this that he did, like literally we broke up. And later on in my life, at the ages of 21, I also met a man who beat me up. And again, I decided while he was beating me up, I made a decision that I'm going to leave this man. Like right now, like the next day, we were no longer together. But those things reoccurred in my life because of my type of trauma, of my aura. Like I always say in the group, my type of aura. So my type of aura was saying, this is the things that you are going to attract. So I was a magnet to abusive people. So sometimes it's not going to be, that you are sexually abused and then you get raped, and it's not going to be in that manner, but you are going to attract the things that can match your level of vibration, if I can put it like that, right? So many people do not heal, number one, because we don't know how to heal. We don't know if we should heal, but we know that these are the things that we are currently even living with at the present moment. But today I want to tell you what actually happens to you when you experience trauma in any direction. To some people, it's trauma even on Facebook, by being bullied by people on Facebook. To some people, it can be you being bullied at school, or the teacher, making your life experience at school worse than ever, right? that part of you can be in trauma mode. So when you are in trauma, or when you experience trauma, the first thing that happens to you is that you experience you experience psychological disassociation. So this is a part of your mental being that disassociate. You know, it's a coping mechanism. When you are facing any type of trauma, you then get into a place. For instance, if I was sexually abused like myself, a part of my mental being disassociated so that I can cope with this trauma for a certain period of time. And as I go back to the healing process, I will retrieve that part of me back to myself, whole and healed. But then when it does that, many people again don't go through a process of healing. So what happens to them is that they lose their part of their minds in relationship, in the trauma that they experience as children, even when they grow up, right? So many people who have actually experienced sexual abuse, they said it, that they don't remember. Most people don't remember what exactly had happened, but you will feel some sort of a void in you. You feel some emptiness in you. I mean, there's a lady that I was working with, and she only found out at the age of 40 that she was actually sexually abused at the age of 3. So the good thing with her is that she was going through a healing process of whatever, you know, awakening process and a whole lot of that. And she always felt that void and thinking that maybe I'm not on my purpose and all that. But then as she was healing, elevating her spiritual self, her spiritual being, then that thing came up where she could remember. Now, many people, when they go through trauma, they cannot remember what exactly happened. There are people who have been raped, you know, at gunpoint or things like that. But then your mind, so that you can cope, your psychological or psyche, so that you can cope, it disassociate. And then you go through life as a coping mechanism, and you go and you heal. That's what you need to do. And then when you heal, you then retrieve this part. It will be whole back to yourself. So many people, again, they are going through life half, I would say, not whole, half, right? Yeah. You know, so many people are going through life when they are not whole because of they have left parts of them in the trauma that they have experienced. And the second part of trauma is that when you go through it, and trauma can be pain, it can be a hurtful relationship when you are finding out that your boyfriend or your husband is cheating or whatever, right? It can be traumatizing to you. So when you then go through trauma, the second thing that you lose is what we call soul loss. Now, soul is a combination of the mind and the emotions. So soul is what connects to God, is what connects to your spirit man. So a soul, sometimes people would I think that a soul and actually a soul and a soul and spirit is one thing, but a soul is what connects you to your spirit man. So it is a part of your mind and as a part of your emotions that connects, and you become that person, right? You become that person who can connect to God and all that. So as well, your soul disassociate from you when you experience trauma. And what it does the same thing that it does when you are experiencing a trauma, the psyche part of you, the psychological part of you. Now, imagine if you have been in 5 trauma, you know, you have been in an accident and you have been abused, and then you have been tormented at work, and then all of these things, and you have never went into a process of healing. It means that you have lost a part of your soul. And that is why today we have a lot of people who don't know their purpose. Your purpose is connected to your soul, which, in other words, you have a soul contract. So that is the reason why many people, many times I always say in the group that you have a soul contract. And the minute you are thinking about a car, like let's say what can we say? Maybe you want to manifest a Range Rover, right? The minute you say, I want to manifest a Range Rover, Malebo on the other side wants to manifest an X5. So the contract that I have and the contract that Neo has is a different type of contract, right? So all of us, we have different types of soul contracts. Now, many people have lost their soul in the process of trauma, in the process of experiencing trauma, and they haven't gotten to a stage in their lives where they can heal themselves or pick up the pieces that have been scattered all over with hope and trust that God has got their back. Many people don't go through that. And this many times happen in our Black community. I mean, many times we are told, even myself, I did it, when you are going through a broken relationship, or you just broke up with the person that you loved so much, what we do is that we pretend as if we are right. You know, we pretend. I mean, there was a time when I called my boyfriend at the time, and as I called him and I said hello, a lady answered the phone, and I remember I wanted to throw myself down from sixth floor, you know, from six to the ground floor, because I didn't know how to deal with those type of emotions. And what we do is that we have those seasons when we are angry and all that, and we suppress or repress this type of things in us, and we move on to life as if nothing had ever happened. But then we move around and ask, why is it that I'm not manifesting the things that I want? Why is it not that I'm getting the job that I want? Why is my boss always doing this to me? It's because those are symptoms of the things that you haven't healed in your life, because God wants us to have life, and not just life, but life more abundantly. But then if we are going to repress or suppress the things that we go through, we do not cough them out, we do not take them out of our energy body, out of our mind, out of our spirit, and retrieve the things that we have lost during the type of our times of trauma, then we are going to experience those type of things that you feel empty. So I'm going to I wrote my notes here. I'm going to share with you the physical symptoms, which are like major symptoms that you can find yourself in as a person, right? You find many people feeling empty. So the minute you are feeling bad, is an indication of actually it's a symptom of something that is currently happening in your life, or that has happened in your life that you have forgotten about it. I have friends who have been actually abused or who have been raped, and they couldn't remember that. But there's a process of you to retrieve this information so that you can heal it, right? So if you are feeling empty, this is another symptom that you need to deal with something in your life. Some people do have money, they have everything that we are looking for, that we are signing up for courses that I can be a millionaire. Some people are millionaires, some people have everything, that all material things, but then they are feeling empty. They have wives, but then they are feeling empty. And to some people, you would find them having wives or husbands who are right, who are, we would die to have people like that. But do you know what they do? They go and take their emptiness elsewhere. They go and maybe cheat. They are driven to do things because there is a hole in them that does not even have emotions anymore, because like I said, soul is a part of your mind and emotions. And that is the reason why when I say when you manifest, you bring up your emotions, you use your mind. That is a part of your soul that you use to connect to the things that you want. So if you do not have emotions anymore, you are empty. You can literally sleep with other people and don't feel like you love them and all these things. So many people, especially in the Black community, we need healing. Right. So the other thing that you can face is chronic fatigue. So there are people, even myself earlier, before I started my healing journey, I was struggling with chronic fatigue, but I was thinking that the fatigue was coming from was coming from because I'm traveling and all that. But as I healed, I saw that that was not even part of the deal. The thing that was happening there was me and not healing. I mean, it took me 20 years to talk about this thing. Juliet once said that she was sitting next to me at work and she never imagined me that I had went through sexual abuse and in this horrible manner, right? So I suppressed it for a very long time, and it caused chronic fatigue for myself. Other people will experience different symptoms, right? And also like memories. So a part of your life will be like blurred out. You don't even remember yourself. You don't remember what you need to be doing. You don't remember when you were young, what you used to dress up like. I mean, like only now that I am remembering my life, only now that I'm trying to figure out, who am I? Why is it that I'm doing these things that I'm doing, right? But in only now that I'm healing. But that time, my sister used to be telling me about, hey, you remember when you were young, you used to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, hello, Jeanette. My sister would tell me about my life that I think to myself from the top of my head, I couldn't remember. Right? So you would experience those type of things. And another thing is being anxious. So many people do struggle from anxiety. They even named the anxiety after them. They said, my anxiety. Like, how do you own anxiety? Anxiety is actually an indication or a symptom of something bigger that you need to deal with. So many times we go to maybe we take medication for anxiety so that your anxiety can be subtle or whatever it is. But actually what is happening is that you are not dealing with the root cause of the issue. The other thing, let me even read them from my phone because I have shared this story on my WhatsApp. This is one of the powerful things I have ever seen, right? So the other thing is also struggle with insomnia. Many people cannot sleep, I mean, how do you sleep when you have problems? And the not so nice thing about these problems is that you are experiencing problems that you don't know. Some people have forgotten about them, but you are feeling this void in you that is keeping you at night. You can't even sleep. You can't even do anything because of this void in your subconscious mind, right? And other things that we can all relate to. I think a lot of people have been telling me about this story on WhatsApp every time when I put up this about unhealed trauma, low self-worth, codependency in relationships, and fear of being abandoned. So codependency and the fear of being abandoned comes also, it's actually one and the same thing, because people can be in relationships, and when you are codependent in a relationship, it means that you are saying you cannot breathe if this person is not here. You cannot do anything. So that is a codependence. It's not really a good type of a relationship if you are codependent to your partner, because you are also causing them a lot of, they have to fill up the things that you didn't get in your life, and then also fill themselves up and then fill you up at the level where, is a relationship level. So many people, again, are in abusive relationships because they are dependent, that they feel like, oh my gosh, I cannot sleep or breathe if this person is not in my life, something like that, right? And yes, perfectionism, it comes from that as well, right? Putting your needs first before putting your needs aside for other people. So many people would say, I gave them my last money. Why would you do that? Why would you put your needs, other people's needs before you? Because you are the most important person in this planet. You are not even compared to another person, but you are important. You need to understand that you are important. But because of how trauma has has worked with our psyche. We're thinking that we are not important. We're thinking that other people are more important than us. That is why your friend, or you can go and take a loan for your friend, and those type of things. It's something that you have to deal with. And now, God, I love how God works. God always shows us the part of our life that needs healing. For as long as you are doing something, I know that many people are doing something, they are not fulfilled about giving so much. I mean, I was talking to another lady as well who was saying, I always postpone my things, but when somebody else comes to me, I will do it like, right away. And she has seen how that has also affected her own relationships, so, but it's always a symptom or an indication of things that you can heal within yourself, right? So a feeling of shame, external validation, always fearing that there's something wrong might happen. If you are always like that, it's a wounded inner child who hasn't been feeling safe, so they want to control themselves. They want to control that they won't be hurt again, right? And a whole lot of other things of you not tolerating conflicts, and and a whole lot of other things, right? So these are symptoms that you would get as a person if you have been through any type of trauma. Now, I want to make a statement which I have already made on social media. I think it's on WhatsApp, that many people, especially in our Black communities, are struggling with mental issues. But then we don't deal with mental issues. What has caused me to have this depression? Now, there has been a controversy around the issue of depression. People thinking that when you are depressed, it's because you are living beyond your means. But if you are depressed because of that, there is an indication of something again, that why are you living beyond your means? There is always something that drives you to taking more debts, to being, to earning money and then also losing money, right? There is always an indication of something that you can heal within yourself. Now, because of Black people don't have a word for depression, and don't have how we can, as Black people in the African culture, how we can deal with trauma, how we can deal with pain, or we haven't even thought about that. We are taught to tuck in our feelings, our emotions, and act as if everything is fine. Now, when people are having these type of things, symptoms of something, then we direct them to say they have a calling of ubungoma, of becoming a sangoma, which ultimately people believe that becoming a sangoma is becoming a healer. Now, there are people who even went on this initiation Yabo Sangoma for 4 or 5 times, and they came back miserable than they were before. It's because we are not looking at them. We are not looking at the root cause of the problem. We are looking at the symptom, and you are thinking that symptoms, right? Those symptoms, those kind of symptoms are what had, we just check, and then we say, oh, if you are you are babbing so much, then you have that gift. If you are struggling with it, then you have that gift. But in true essence, we are having issues with mental issues. We are having mental issues, right, that we need to deal with. And those mental issues have been caused by the trauma that is even inherited in our families, coming down to us, the 5th, 7th generation. Right? So you want to get into a place where you can heal yourself. If, for instance, if you do not remember that you have been through any type of trauma, there are people who don't remember at all that they have been sexually abused, that when that guy was there, did they rape you, did they penetrate, what happened? Some people do not remember at all. And when you are doing this at home now, healing yourself from home, you are going to be in a meditative state, right? And you are going to ask questions. The Bible says, ask and you shall be given. So when I spoke about this, I think last week on the group, where I said, there was a time when I realized some sort of a pattern in my life. And big ups to me, because that pattern has been cancelled, right? I was seeing a certain pattern in my life, and I did not know where that pattern was coming from. And as I digged deeper, I asked questions, and I took like my journal like this, and I asked, in my journal, and I said, I have this and this, and I asked, where is it coming from? Now, you can do this in a way of meditation or automatic writing, which is journaling, automatic journaling, right? So I asked, when I asked, I said it that Zibu, when she was doing her live on Facebook, answered that very question that I had about myself. And when I brought that to the light, right? When I brought that part of me to the light, it never happened again. Because now the most important thing here is that you bring anything that is in the darkness to the light so that it doesn't have power over you. And again, last week I made an example about lighting candles, that when it's dark here, right? When it's dark here, anybody can walk in and just, slap me, and the other one can slap me. I won't see who is slapping me. But if there is light, I will be able to see who exactly is doing whatever to me. Now, you need to get to a place as yourself, that you get to a place where you understand, right? You understand what has been driving you to death, what has been driving you to wrong relationships, what has been driving you to feel a certain way about other people, what has been driving you to blocking even other people on social media, what has been why do you get triggered by certain events? Because the triggers are all there to help us heal a part of us, right? So you do this through automatic writing or automatic journaling, or through meditation, and you ask questions, right? And the first question that you're going to be asking, so when you are in a meditative state, you make sure that you breathe in, you breathe out, until you get to a place where your mind is no longer thinking about responsibilities, it's no longer at that vibration of, oh, I need to go and exercise, I need to go and do this. So your mind would be at a vibration where you can be able to be a receptor, meaning that you can receive information from God. Now, how do you receive this information? The first thing after you answer that, you ask that question, the first thing that comes into your mind, that is actually the truth of the answer of your question, right? So the first thing is that you ask yourself, and when you do that meditation, I have done a video about asking guidance about lighting candles. The past 4 weeks have been a really good week, where I was teaching about the healing things that you can do. But now, going back home to yourself, you are going to ask guidance. You are going to ask your whoever you believe in, your spirit guide, God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, your spiritual identity, your physical identity, your family, or your spiritual family, right? You're going to call upon them when you are doing this meditation, and you are going to ask, what in me do I need to access and heal? That is a very powerful question. What in me do I need to access? Because there are other things that are closed because of you have forgotten about them, because you don't even think that actually at this point they are making you feel like that. There are many other things that are happening in your life that are a result of what had happened to you, but now you cannot even link that. So when you ask this question, what in me do I need to access? You will be presented with the things that you need to access, and you will also be presented with the things that you need to heal, right? That is the first one. Now, the second one is, what happened to me in childhood that I need to see now? What is it that happened to me in my childhood that I need to see now? Now, imagine when you have been sexually abused at the age of 3. I mean, most of us, well, I know my husband remembers when he was 3. With me, I don't remember again because of what had happened to me. But imagine your life. I mean, Gosi won't remember when he's 2 years. But then there would come a time, And actually this exercises, they also use it for hypnosis, right? And you will be presented with pictures, you will be presented with thoughts that are linked to what had happened to you in your childhood, especially for people who don't remember. And what pain is in my past that I need to know about now? What pain is it in my past that I need to know about right now? Many people again are driven by pain. I know of a lady who has been through a traumatic situation, and she always says, I don't want to, I don't like surprises. And you know, because she was surprised with a whole lot of trauma in her life. Now that is her coping mechanism of saying, I do not like surprises. So why don't you like surprises? It's because there is something in your childhood. You might not think that that's actually a big thing, but as you ask these questions, you're going to get the things, the answers, and believe those answers and work on them. So you will be told, maybe guided, maybe you will be guided to a coach that you will need to work with. You'll be guided to myself, to other coaches, to other healers. You can do that. And you can also do this as a meditation. There are meditations on YouTube where you can heal your inner child, or hypnosis actually, that you can heal your inner child. I remember many years ago, I used to wear red and white at school, and by the time when I was at school, I couldn't even get a present. I didn't even have a boyfriend. I hated that color, but I had forgotten about it. Later on in my life, when people were talking about red, it was a color that was triggering me. Like I didn't even have anything that was red. Until one day I did a hypnosis and a color reading, and I remembered, you know, hypnosis then would bring back those what do we call it, those things that you have forgotten. So you can also do hypnosis, you know, re-triggering the event so that you can heal them, right? So most of the time I also sleep with sleep hypnosis. So you can just Google sleep hypnosis for inner child healing, and then you do that. But again, you will also be presented, like myself, I was presented with that I hated the color red and all of these things because of what had happened in my in my childhood life, and I had to go and really heal my childhood, and I'm still doing that. I mean, last week I was on a healing session which like showed me flames, and next week I'm going again because I have to do a period of 7 days to do some other things and all that. So when you are presented with these things, do not stay and say, oh my gosh, I don't know, you know, I don't have money, or I don't know if money will help me heal. Now you're becoming judgmental. You're thinking, oh, this coach, does she have a metric or whatever. It's not about that. When you are guided to another person, I've been guided to a lot of people to go and do a part of me that had been, you know, left through the times when I was in pain. So now I am integrating this inner child, and you can see, I mean, I always say, hey, these nails, you know, I'm now feeling comfortable or confident that I can put on weaves again. The time when I took off weaves was for me to actually get into a space of healing, to love the person that I am with my forehead, to, you know, to honor this person. Now I'm coming back to myself and integrating my inner child with my label, and we are born, we are doing the thing. So you also want to go and ask this, and maybe after the meditation, after you do the meditation and asking these questions, you also want to get into a place where you can do automatic writing. So what is automatic writing? Is you, after meditation, you will write whatever comes into your mind. So as you write that, you will find out that most of the things that you are writing are actually spirit-led, right? And they are leading you to your healing, or that is another way of you offloading, right? So that's it for me for today. That's for me for today, guys. And for the people who want really to get deeper with the healing, I do have healing sessions. It's 650. I do have coaching sessions, which is 1,000 rand. And in August, we are going for a ladies retreat, which is 3,500 per person. And we will be doing a whole lot of healing in that session, and we're going to be even having fun. Like, this is like the retreat hosted by Coach Malib. So we're going to be having fun as we are healing, right? So you want to get into one of those, or the classes that I have, which is Heal Your Energy Frequency, Love, Heal, and Prosper. Those are the two classes that can help you actually with your wounded inner child, your wounded inner teen, and your wounded self, right? So that is it from me for today. Is there any questions? Is there any questions? There any questions? What am I doing here? Oh my God. All right, I don't know what happened, but I just closed some the things that I had opened. Hopefully. So if there is no question, guys, I am going to then leave, right? I'm going to leave. You will contact me for any of the programs that I have. Tomorrow on the group, we are having the last session of It's Time to Level Up. We are having the last session on that. And yes, right? We are having a last session on that, and we're talking about pulling all these things in the heavenly places down to this physical place. So you want to join me? There is a link also there that would direct you to my group. If you're not part of the group, request, then we will allow you to the group tomorrow at 5:30 South African time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always being live with me. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so right now. I'll see you. Bye.